What's going on, people? Today we're going to talk about CV Doctor, a business that I started when I was at Goldman Sachs. But if you want access to my Goldman Sachs CV and my Goldman Sachs cover letter, which are selling for like 30 quid each, so instead of £60, you can access them both for £10 or maybe less using the first link in the video description below. With that, let's get straight into today's video. What's going on, people? Today I thought I'll do something different. I thought I would do a video in the kitchen. Got this nice space and I thought, you know what, let me make use of it. So today we're gonna go back in time and I'm gonna tell you the story of how I started my first business when I was working at Goldman Sachs. And so for those of you that don't know, it was a CV consulting, career consulting business. It was called CV Doctor. The website's still live today. It's officialcvdoctor.com, I think, but I'm gonna close it down soon. Anyway, so today's gonna be the story of how I got that started, what made me kickstart it, why I decided to do it, what I learned from building my first business, which platform I used to build it, and all of those things. So without any further ado, let's get straight into it. As usual, I've got a few bullet points here. So this is gonna be the structure going forward. I'm gonna come up with a topic idea that can hopefully be useful for you. I'm gonna do a few bullet points. No scripting, no overly edited videos, none of that. Just bullet points, and then I'm just gonna chat to you like you're sitting in front of me, as if we went for a coffee and we're just catching up, and I'm trying to help you as much as possible, because I know that is what I would have wanted when I was in your shoes. So this is how I got started with my first business. And it, you know, it didn't like make me rich or anything, but the lessons here that are important is how I got started. Sometimes you need to just make the first step or take the first step, and then you will see, and I'll talk to you in a bit about this, once you get started, you will unlock new opportunities. Your mind will discover things that you couldn't even comprehend or think about. And then you're like, oh shit, because I did this, now I see this. This is a new opportunity. Because I did this, now I see this. Maybe I can quit my job. Things like that. So anyway, let's go back in time. So when I was in uni, actually after I graduated from uni, I joined Goldman's. I was in their asset management business. And when I was at Goldman's, I used to post quite a bit on LinkedIn. I still post quite a bit on LinkedIn now, but I grew my following from like 1,000 to 20,000 followers. And then also when I was at Goldman's, I used to do a lot of talks on my own time, not related to Goldman's. I used to do a lot of talks at universities because I came from a certain area or background where not many people from those ends or those areas get into Goldman Sachs, for example. So I thought, all right, safe, I'm gonna go around unis and try and like motivate and inspire these kids from, you know, less advantaged backgrounds, or in general, all the kids that don't know how to break in. Yo, if you do this, 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 and this, it gets 10 times easier to break into the industry. So I thought, all right, safe, I'm gonna do that. Went around, did like lots of talks at top unis, average unis, lower ranked unis, all of that. And then constantly one thing kept coming up. A lot of students would ask me, yo, can you check my CV? Can you review my CV for me? Can you review my cover letter? Can you help me with this, help me with that? Initially, I was doing as much as I can, but then it got to a point where if you're not familiar with Career Guides, it's basically a platform that sells digital products. You can buy in-depth career guides to investment banking, asset management, sales and trading, so on and so forth. I've got 9 guides right now. They all cost about £20 each. All of them are 150 quid. If you use the code in the video description below, you can get them all for like 80% off. So check it out. And with that, let's get back to the video. I didn't have enough time to do all of them. And so I thought, you know what? I'm growing a brand, I'm developing my profile on LinkedIn. I work at Goldman's, that's kind of a stamp of approval. So I thought, all right, cool. A lot of people are asking me to do their CVs and stuff. My time is, you know, initially I used to hand out my time for free, but as you get older and as you value your time, you realize your time is actually worth a lot of money. They say time is money, but honestly, as you get older, you'll realize you're not just gonna wanna waste your time on random things or just give out your time for free. Your time is worth a lot. Whether it's money, whether it's, you know, your attention to your family, friends, etc. Your time is valuable. And so I thought, okay, let me try and start this business, or let me try and start something on the side. So that brings me on to point number 2. How did I get started? What platform did I use? How did I learn all of this? So I was literally shooting in the dark. I didn't have a clue how to build a website. I didn't know where to get started. All I knew, I was doing these talks. I had an audience on LinkedIn, and I had to keep it on the low. I had to keep it low key because it's rare for people to start a business and work at the same time, and I didn't want to get in trouble. I didn't want to draw attention to me, so I had to do it anonymously. So I went online and I searched how to build a website. And there's 2 routes. You can be a software engineer like learn coding, computer science, all of that. That's not me. I would have loved to do that if I can go back in time, but that wasn't me, right? So I took the alternative route, which is basic websites like Wix.com, and there's a few others, plug and play. You don't need to code, you just buy a domain. So I can go into all the nitty gritty later on in a future video if you want. Let me know if that's what you're interested in. But you buy a domain. So a domain is basically the website name. So I thought www.officialcvdoctor.com. That was available, I bought it. cvdoctor.com wasn't available. You spend probably like 30-40 quid to own that domain for the year. Then I bought a mailbox. I need to manage emails, right, when they come in for requests, and I need to take bookings. So an email account, simple Gmail, £4.20 a month, so it's like 50 quid for the year. And these times, obviously, I was on a full-time salary, so I said to myself, all right, cool, I'm gonna allocate £1,000 to this little side project, see what happens. And so the website name cost about 50 quid, email inbox cost about 50 quid, that's £100. And then Wix, the platform to build the website, was about 20 quid a month, so say £200 for the year. So I was down 300 quid. And I said to myself, £1,000, I don't mind if that goes to shits. Like, that's just the cost of exploring this opportunity. So then I built the website, very simple, like a few texts. You can check the website out if you want right now. I'll link it below. It's very basic. It doesn't have my face on it, I don't think anyway. It didn't at the beginning. Very basic, and the premise was simple landing page that lets people know they can get these services to improve their CV. They can get on a phone call with someone who works at Goldman Sachs, and they can get their cover letter or CV, whatever worked on, right, for a price. So I built that, and then it was, how do I market it? So I was going to unis, doing talks, and then I would naturally get so many inbound requests, right? I would always give students and stuff my email address. When they'd reach out, I'll send them to CV Doctor after, right? So the service itself, number 3. What was I selling on CV Doctor? Pretty straightforward. 3 key services that I was selling, and they were like 30 quid each, or 30 quid, 50 quid. First one was a consultation. So a consultation, 30-minute video call between me and the customer, and it was like, yeah, 30-minute video call, I'll make 30 quid. I was like 21 or 22. 30 quid for having a 30-minute chat, I'm taking that. I was happy with that. Did a lot of those. Then the next service, so that's a consultation. Sorry, it's mad sunny. Consultation. Next service was a surgery. Surgery was where this one would take me a bit more time, an hour or two. It was like, actually that was, I think, 40 or 50 quid. I would redo your whole CV. So you send me your CV, I'll recreate it, 40 or 50 quid, I can't remember. This is back in 2017, right? And then you could do the final service, major surgery. That's a call, and that's a consultation and the surgery, both bundled up, and you save like 10 or 20 quid. So lots of orders were coming through. I was doing that after work, like after getting home from Goldman's, I was doing that weekends, early mornings, and it was sick. Like I remember the first time I got a sale, I was like, oh shit, man just made money on the internet income. That's what I'm calling it, internet income, yeah? I was like, yo, I just made some peas on the internet. If I do this another 100 times, I could make X thousand. If I do this 1,000 times, and you just get carried away. So I was like, shit, okay, interesting, this is interesting. I budgeted £1,000, I've spent £300, and I've made that all back in less than a few weeks. And so it started growing. Throughout the year, I had to keep it on the low key as well. I made a few grand, right? And I was like, okay, maybe we've got something here. Then, so I touched on the service itself, touched on the first sale. The first sale is magical. If you're interested in making money on the side of your 9-to-5, or if you want to do a business or you want to make internet income, that first pound or that first sale that you make is beautiful, because then it shows you, yo, it's doable, it's possible. Now I just got to replicate this and scale it. And then before you know it, you'll make more money than your day job, and then you'll think, okay, should I leave my day job, blah blah blah. Sick, trust me, it is a beautiful thing, and everyone should experience it. It's not for everyone, there's no right or wrong answer, but anyway, I'm getting carried away. All right, so how much did it make? In the first year, I had to do it low key, so I couldn't put my face on it, couldn't mention it to Goldman. I was literally, priority for the first year was test this out, see if it works. If it works, great, it's an option, right? So first year, it made like 5 or 6 grand. And this was like, I say first year, it was a few months of work. So I was doing it on the side, made some P's, and then it just proved to me, okay, there's demand for this. And then so that came into the equation when I was, after a few years, considering, all right, do I leave the industry or do I stay in the industry? And also I was staying at home, right? So I was saving a lot of my money. So I made sure before I left the industry, I had about 2 or 3 years worth of expenses saved up. And so if everything went downhill, I have 2 or 3 years to go back into the industry and find another job. So yeah, it didn't make so much money that it made me rich, don't get me wrong. But in the first few months, first half year, it made a good few grand, and it opened my eyes to this world of entrepreneurship and internet income. And that's all I needed. All right. Now, some advice for you. If you're gonna start something on the side, or start something while you're doing a 9 to 5, I'm gonna be honest with you straight up, you're gonna get a lot of haters at work. That's why you gotta keep your thing to yourself, keep it on the down low. I'm telling you, don't be oblivious and trust people, especially at work. There's snakes. Like when I asked Goldman's, am I allowed to do this? Some people were okay with it, some people understood it, but then HR snakes. Like, I get it, it's a conflict of interest. You can't help people with their CVs because they might be applying to Goldman's, whatever. But some people make it their life's work to make sure that you don't do it. So they'll be checking the website, they'll be keeping tracks on it, right? So I had to pause it for a bit until I left GS, and then I restarted it again, right? So be careful who you talk to about your ideas. That's one piece of advice I'll give you on this. But also, don't put your face on it too quick. You want to test things and not be connected to it, because if your company finds out you're doing something behind their back without compliance approval, you might be in trouble, get a warning, get fired, whatever it might be, right? So you want to play it safe. But before you do anything, like I tell people, don't a lot of students come to me, or graduates, and they say, I've got this sick idea, I've got a job, I want to go all in on my idea. My advice is, look, do your job, earn your salary, earn an income, get that safety net, make a base for you if everything goes AWOL, right? If everything messes up, you've got something, right? Don't go all in on your business. Try and do it on the side and see if you get traction, because you might do it and you might realize it's actually not an idea that it's not a product that people want. It's not an idea that there's lots of demand for. So start the thing on the side. If you see results, then start doubling down on it. And don't complain about, I do a 9 to 5 or a 9 to 6, 7, 8 p.m. in banking, I don't have energy to do this thing on the side. If you don't have energy for it, then that means you're not on it as much. Like, you either make the time or you make excuses. That's it. So do the thing, see if it gets results. If it don't, see what you learn from it and pivot. So next time I'll do a video where I talk about how CV Doctor pivoted, right? Because I started CV Doctor and it was eating up bare of my time. So I was like, I'm one guy, I've got 24 hours a day. What's that? 168 or so hours a week. I can't scale this to help tens of thousands of people. There's only me, and I don't want to just do these CV edits and video calls with people forever, right? So I got to the point where I had to kind of think, how can I bring others on board to make me be able to step back? How can I scale this and step away from it? And that will be a video for next time, and that goes on to another idea that I started, which initially was an app, but we can go into that next time. Anyway, I feel like I'm rambling on now. That was the basic journey of how I started CV Doctor, career consulting service, when I was at Goldman's, and then how I kind of explored it, made it into an actual website, made some money from it, and what I learned, and what you can learn from the journey too. Before I go, if you've got any questions, let me know down below, but I will see you in the next one. Peace.